Good afternoon and welcome to the FIB Strategists update on the US tech shares, the NASDAQ shares. I'm going to just do it in alphabetical order, starting with Apple. And we can just see Apple finding strong resistance in that distribution zone, and then this last week holding below it. Now, what is quite important at the moment is that it found some support there at 144, and that's basically the 38 retracement level, which is 61.8 the other way around. Basically, the price fib taken from the high to the low, and then the market retracing in an upward direction instead of the downward direction. Anyway, short story is that that level has offered some support. Today I'll be looking for an hourly close above yesterday's high. So Thursday's high there, 146.71. Maybe an hourly close above that today for an entry there. And my stop loss I'll be looking for somewhere down at 141.73. Applied Materials didn't really retrace enough for me to get super excited. But what has happened is it's broken above that trend line. If we take that and parallel, a bit of a bull flag going on there. And price has broken and closed above that level for 3 days now. And I'm now looking at the breakout. So resistance, the 113 there, fib, swing high, swing low, 113% extension there, so 13% above the one level, and basically an hourly close above that 113 properly, which is at 119.33. I'll be looking for an hourly close above that for a very late entry, so position size will be smaller than normal, and stop loss I'll be looking for somewhere below 110. AMD, so AMD, slight broadening pattern going on there, finding strong resistance at that 61% retracement, again high to low, so 62%, just on the way up again, pulling back below the 50% level, and then yesterday closing above it. There's also a bullish engulfing candle on that, and 73, sorry, let's just get that high, 1892, hourly close above that. I'll be looking to get into AMD again. That's adding into a current position. So bull market looks to still be intact on AMD. The bull run holding nice little retracement there. Hasn't tested the 89 EMA, which is fine for now. Just looking for a close above yesterday's high. And then Google also having a strong afternoon yesterday. That trend is officially down 21 below 89 and so on. But the fib level is more important to me at this point. That accumulation zone there offered some support back in December, and currently that 79% retracement holding steady. It's around 89.63 or so. What I'd be looking for here is a continuation of that move from yesterday. I'd like to see some momentum pushing through there, through that 62% level at 92.92. Hourly close above that, break of that candle's high. I'll enter into Google again. Stop loss, essentially the stop loss should be a close below support. Let me just get a proper price. Sorry, the chart's hiding the level there. Just getting that low. 83.34 would be the best stop loss if you are trading physicals. If you're trading with leverage and you are not over leveraged, that same level can be used. Alright, on to IBM. IBM going sideways pretty much since 2019. There was that big drop in 2019, all the way down to that 104 level. Let's get a 108, and then the highs up there at 180, 178 or whatever it is. So consolidating since then, but what it does give us in the meantime are nice trading opportunities. There's enough movement in these swings for us to make some money on the shorter term. On the longer term, I'm looking to accumulate IBM for their divvies. I do expect at some point that they will break out of that consolidation as they improve their business and cloud storage, cloud computing, and all that kind of stuff. So I am trying to accumulate them, and my buy level down at 126.37 still. I'd love to see a little bounce off that before entering there. It doesn't look to me like IBM is going to trigger today. So the next update, hopefully we've got something to look at. And then Intel, everybody getting nervous on Intel, dropping below that 30 mark, heading down to 25. Finding pretty solid support there, and then yesterday bouncing nicely back up through that support. That could have offered quite serious resistance there, so it's through my buy level at 25.34. I'm going to look today just for an hourly close above the high here, 26.30, stop loss down at the lows. So I'm just going to move that stop loss level down to the low there, and just an hourly close above above yesterday's high. Adding in there, targeting upwards of 30.50. If it does break through that resistance, there's plenty of white space there pushing up to the 50s. Intel did drop their dividend as well, so it's not as much of a dividend play as it was 3 months ago. Alright, so Juniper Networks kind of breaking through that 38% retracement, closing below it and not pushing above it. A bit of a piercing line candle pattern there, but not off a solid support level, so I'm just waiting to see what happens here. I'm already in Juniper, so looking to add into it. Ideally I'd be looking for that close above that 34 level, but that's a very long way away from here, so I would like to see it pushing down through the 50% retracement, closing back above it, and then giving me a better entry. If it does close above the 38% level over here, which is where it spent most of the week, below that level, if it gets back above that, I'll have a look at entering that, maybe again an hourly close above that 38% level. Stop loss would have to be below the 50% mark there, so 29.79, a close below that and break of that candle's low for the stop. Meta, so Meta still playing around in that big breakaway gap there. That gap is so large you can't really give it a proper name, exhaustion gap or anything like that. Just a massive gap on their results, and that retracement to be expected coming through. There's no real levels at the moment. We have to zoom out quite a bit to get the next buy area, which is around that 200 mark. So I'm waiting to see what happens on Meta. I'm not going to be chasing that at these levels. Either it pulls back nicely to support on that gap, so just the bottom of that gap range, 152.82, that area. Otherwise I'll be looking for a break above 200. Then Microsoft also in a range, but with higher lows there, higher highs here. It does look to me like these downtrends are generally over for now, and that's obviously in the longer term view. In the short term, as the trend is down, and Microsoft just stopping dead at that 127 extension. So a little price move there, high to low, 127 extension stopped it dead, and retracing all the way back down to the 62% area here, which is the 32% retracement. And then yesterday having a pretty decent close back above that 62% level. For myself, I'm going to be looking for a close above that 255 resistance to add into Microsoft. So for now, waiting to see what happens here. If it gets lower, even better. If I can pick it up down at my preferred buy level, down at 231.38. And then Micron, the results disappointing. But I think all of these guys have got the same problem. What would you call it? The retail side of these things are pretty stocked up, so the manufacturers are not really getting the orders that they expect, and therefore sitting with stock in the factories, and they can't move their goods. And Micron suffering with that as well, sitting with high stock levels. They've had to slow down on production, and that's kind of hitting their results as well. Came very close to my buy level at 54.62. My preferred levels down at the bottom of the gap there, 51. I'd love to pick it up again at 51. If it doesn't do that, I've got enough levels on the way up to add in there. So back above the 50 mark. So if I can just get my crosshair, there we go, 56.56. All back above 62% at 58.42. And the alternative, of course, is the 8 EMA crossing above the 21 EMA there for an entry. So at this point, again, waiting to see what happens on the technical side. The fundamentals, the results always lag the actual price action. So I'll be watching the price action. The market will start discounting future earnings one of these days. And then we've got Nvidia, and I just cannot convince myself to buy this stock. Not for any other reason than it's expensive. PE of 91 years. So 91 years of earnings to get to that current share price is just too expensive for me. So I'm kind of just watching that capital growth and waiting for an opportunity to get involved. My preferred level down at 150, just the bottom of that gap. That's where I'd prefer to buy it. They've got the same problem as everyone else. But Nvidia is going through changes. They're becoming very much a software company as well as hardware. And I think the market is discounting future profits quite drastically at the moment. And if we look at the technical side, the upside, there's enough space there to 288 and then ultimately up at that 344 level. But personally, I'm just really struggling to get into the stock. Then Qualcomm's still looking okay. And again, we can see that theme, higher lows, higher highs, short-term trends are up. On the moving average side, we've got the short-term trend down, which is the current trend. 21 still holding above the 89 EMAs for now, and just breaking below that 38% retracement level there at 123. So just remember how these things are structured. It's from the high to the low. That is 38% of that previous move. It's not drawn the other way around where that would be the 62% level. Okay. Alright, so don't think I'm going crazy. It's just the way that the fibs are drawn. Alright, so I'm looking at that 38% level, and it was a strong close yesterday, but still below that 123.65 area. So I'm still concerned about short-term technicals. Still looking weak on Qualcomm. I'm going to start building my orders down at 117.37, looking for a spike entry at that low. If it goes below that, my next level of interest is around that 106, 107 area. Then Roblox still all over the place. And again, this is a company that has the potential for greatness. At this point, they're not producing much. So I'm just being a little bit patient and a little bit careful about my entries. I'm only really interested if it does currently, at the current levels are 28. And then that swing low at 25, 28. So not chasing that at the moment. And then Tesla, I was really thinking Tesla would come off a little bit more than this. Same with Nvidia, as the indices have come off, as the NASDAQ has dropped, I expected Tesla to at least break below the 38 level. It didn't do that. My preferred buying area is somewhere around 154 down to 147, kind of in that gap. So if price finds some support there, I'd love to get it at that lower price. On the breakout side, I'll be watching for a close back above that 50% mark, 208.42. Stop loss more than likely down below the 38%. Then we've got TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Same problem as Micron and Intel and any other producer, sitting with high stock levels, production slowing down, and they're just waiting for the market to pick up. Obviously, with COVID and that, there was a lot of people purchasing this stuff to upgrade their home system so that they could work from home. And at that time, people were incorrectly expecting to be working from home for about 5 years. Basically, it lasted a year and a half, and then it was all over. So at this point, TSM, I'm just waiting to see what happens. I would prefer to buy it down at the lows. The current swing low there is 72.80, and as long as it's holding above that, I'm not going to be chasing it. And then Verizon is purely a dividend play. The company may or may not come right in the future. It's a very small portion of my portfolio overall. Just purely looking for some dividend returns there to pay for my holding costs. Adding into it, most likely above 43, or if it does get down to some double bottom, 35, 22, that sort of area. But there's certainly no rush for me to accumulate Verizon at the moment. And then Western Digital, obviously they've got some competition from Seagate and the likes. For now, prices coming off, short-term trend is down there. That 38, between 38 and 50, really holding it back. Price closing below the 38% retracement, and I am looking for support at 36.70, although my preferred buy levels are down at that 32.43 accumulation zone there, or the swing low down at 29.70. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you want to know when we're going to pull the trigger on these stocks, please feel free to check out our website and join the signal service. We will give you my entries and exit stop losses, all that kind of detail. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat again next time.